welcome. It's your local fandom enthusiast, and today I'm not very enthusiastic because I have to talk about this controversy. Like, I don't have to, but I really want to, because me and my friends, we often talk about, like, oh, the death of fandom etiquette and stuff like that. But it's getting to a point where I'm actually bothered about, like, it's not funny anymore. It's not just a funny thing. New kid, new gen does not know how to act in fandoms, and I feel like this recent controversy has shown how that actually works. Because the recent controversy I'm talking about, of course, it's about Dana Terrace. And controversy, I'm saying controversy because that's how it's being called, but I don't feel like it's controversy worthy, honestly. And I'm gonna start with Dana's controversy, and I'm gonna branch out on other things, fandom etiquette, how female creators are generally more mistreated, and all that stuff. What happened is just Dana Terrace confirmed that one of her characters is a cisgender woman. For those who don't know, Dana Terrace is the creator of the How House and of the most recent show, Knights of Guinevere. Now, Knights of Guinevere is not marketed as a queer show. It was never referred to as a queer show, and honestly, I wasn't expecting any queer, like outright queer representation, because it was marketed as a sort of horror show, like dystopian. It wasn't marketed as a queer show, so I don't know why people are treating it like the whole marketing campaign was like, oh, we're gonna have the most queer cast ever written, because that's not what happened. Anyway, what started this controversy was a question, okay, that Dana answered. The question was on Blue Sky. Hey Dana Terrace, just wanted to ask, is Frankie trans? I have seen discussions about this online, and I think that it would make sense as different people call her different full names. For those who don't know, I'm putting Frankie's character image here somewhere. And again, for those who don't know, Frankie is referred to as, I think, 4 nicknames in the pilot, which is Francesca, which I think is her actual name, Frankie, Frank, and Franklin, okay? The last one was considered by some people as that naming, because Franklin is not a feminine name, okay? I did a reaction to it, and I commented on it when the thing came up. So if you wanna watch my reaction, I'm gonna put the link to my channel, to my reaction channel, here somewhere. Anyway, then I answered, Frankie is cis, she just has a lot of nicknames. I have friends who call me Dana, DBO, Danny, just happens sometimes. Which, fair, I also have lots of nicknames. And I feel like some cultures tend to have more nicknames than others. In Italy, we don't really have that culture, but me and my friends, we all have that kind of thing engraved in our mind, especially because we have maybe longer names. Like, my name is Raphael. No one fucking calls me Raphael. And I also have 2 names. My names are Raphael and Miles, which are fucking long, okay? Most people call me Raph or Ralph. I have one friend that calls me Ralph, which I hate. But at one point, I had a friend that called me Ray, because I use Del Rey as like my surname, and it has nothing to do with Lana Del Rey. So just to let people know, some people called me Ray. At one point I had a girl that called me Gray, because she misheard how my name was, and then when I told her, no, my name is not Gray, she kept calling me Gray. And I also had people call me M, because Miles is pretty short already. So people have multiple nicknames. After that, someone else also asked, then, is there a reason why Frankie was referred to as Franklin by Sparky, but Francesca by her little imaginary animal friends, and Gwen? Is it a work culture thing, or is it something else? And then I just said, Franklin is just a nickname, which, fair. Now, after, I think the first tweet specifically, but also the second probably, the internet exploded. And I'm not talking about just Twitter, which I'm pretty used to Twitter exploding like once a week. I don't even pay much attention to it anymore. But I'm talking Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, fucking Blue Sky, fucking Tumblr. Tumblr, we're talking about the ancient text. Tumblr. What the fuck? There are multiple people. I'm gonna read one extract from one person on Tumblr because there's a lot, okay? And this I got from one tweet of someone that was commenting on the situation, so I'm gonna also link the tweet. So yeah, but this is from Tumblr. I think I can say it because of how it's formatted, and Twitter does not allow so many characters. Anyway, this person says, I'm looking at this again, this being Knights of Guinevere, the pilot, at this again, and it's so striking to me how it just makes the story worse. It's a nickname, just a silly little thing we're calling Frankie for fancies. You know the best context to establish this? When her abusive guardian figure is threatening her with violence, gruff abusive father McTooth Ripper, voiced by a trans woman by the way, is just a goofy little guy playing into this goofy little quirk. First of all, the fact that Frankie had multiple nicknames was established way before that. I'm pretty sure she was called all three variations, Frankie, Frank, and Francesca, before Tooth Ripper here, I don't remember his name, Sparky or whatever, called her Franklin, okay? Also, do we want to really talk about the fact that a trans woman is voicing a male character? Because we can talk about it. If I find the tweet, I'm gonna put the tweet here somewhere, but I remember that the actual voice actor, the trans woman that voices him, came out and said, first of all, I don't just voice him, I also voice a nurse. I don't remember, like me personally, I don't know the characters. I wasn't paying much attention to the background characters. I was paying attention to the details, the scenes, and the main characters. I didn't even know like the name of here, fucking Tooth Ripper here or whatever. So yeah, sorry if I don't actually remember what character the voice actor is talking about. Again, the voice actor said, I chose to voice that certain character because as a trans person, I have a wider voice range. Because for those who don't know, by the way, testosterone changes a trans guy's voice or like a trans mask person's voice, okay? While estrogen does not changes the voices of trans femme people. So when you hear a trans femme person talking in a feminine voice, they actually trained to use that voice. Not all the time. Sometimes people just have a more feminine, high-pitched voice, even if they were born AMAB. That's not for everyone, but generally speaking, trans women have a wider voice range because they train their voice to sound a certain way. As a trans guy without testosterone, I also trained my voice to be different, I don't know, pitches or whatever. And I also did some voice acting, and I remember voicing male characters, female characters, children's, non-binary characters, because since I trained my voice so hard, I have a wider voice range, okay? And it's fun, people, okay? It's also fucking dumb when people act like creators are forcing certain voice actors to voice a certain character. I remember this happened for Vivienne Medrano too, for I don't remember what exactly, like some character, maybe it was like Moxie that is voiced by Horvitz. Yeah, and people were like, "Oh, we have to save him" or whatever. I don't remember. Maybe it was Alastor's voice actor, whoever it was. No one. The creator is not forcing a voice actor to voice a certain character. They can refuse. They can say, no, thank you, I'm not voicing that character. So, let's just stop acting like when a character is voiced by a certain person, it's the creator forcing that person to do that. It's not how it works. Let's go on. Just, this is so emblematic of the kind of short-sighted writing you get when you're not a trans woman and you've never considered for even a moment what it's like to be one. Writing an all but explicit trans woman to the point during my first reviewing I genuinely thought there was no question about her transness, and then explicitly making sure that we know she's actually cis, that trans femininity doesn't even deserve a token, haha, you can interpret it that way if you want, but a flat-out denial. First of all, you can still interpret the characters however you want. Like, is this your first fandom? Be fucking for real, okay? We used to ship characters that weren't even in the same universe, and you can't like get past the fact that a character is canonically cisgender. What are you, a snowflake? This is apparently what explicitly writing a character as cis looks like. I want to say that, like, I'm also a writer. I'm many things, okay? I've been many things and I'm many things currently. But as a writer, we don't generally write characters that are trans. We write a character that is a person, and that person may be trans or may be cis. Like, the first thing I think about when I'm writing a character is not, oh, this character is trans. Like, the first character trait that I write is not trans or cis. It's, oh, this character is altruistic, this character is sympathetic, this character is evil, or whatever else. And maybe they're also trans, but they are a person before they are transgender, just like real people. Like, you can't, like, look at me and be like, you must be trans. Because that's not how it works. You know, just because I look a certain way or act a certain way doesn't mean I am a certain kind of person. In this case, cis or trans. Like, honestly, I did not, like, I can't see really what about Frankie screams transgender, because aside from the nickname thing, actually, I can't point to one instance when I'm like, oh yeah, this is clearly a trans allegory, or this is clearly something a trans person would feel. Because again, aside from the nicknames, there is nothing that says trans experience. To me, as a trans person, I'm not a trans woman, but I am a trans person. And I honestly didn't feel like there were any trans allegory. And again, let's remember, Knights of Guinevere is not a queer show. It's not marketed as a queer show. So why were we all expecting there to be like queer characters in the first place? I'm not saying that shows that are not queer shows can't have queer characters. I'm saying that we're treating this like it was marketed as a queer show for queer people when it was clearly not. Let's go on. And you did a bad and thoughtless job of it. I think less of writing for this, and not just because of the passive thoughtfulness exclusive of trans femme, but it is so painfully common in all time writing. I think I commented enough on this, and this kind of encapsulates all the points that people are making. Like, and I don't understand. I honestly don't understand. Dana made another blue sky thingy, another blue sky statement, I guess, because we needed that, apparently. Like, guys, what are we doing? Dana said, alright, I didn't check blue sky until this evening. Frankie, I feel like my answer to a question was widely misinterpreted. I think seeing her as trans is awesome. I see the connection when people talk about it. And I have also never in my career been against that canons. Why would I start now? I'm sorry if my reply came across as too short or casual an answer. It may not have been my intention, but it's an absolutely valid and awesome interpretation to see Frankie as trans. I love seeing what people take away from stories, and that will always be the case. It's the beauty of fiction. Now, back in my days, a creator would not have to specify that just because they said a character is, for example, cisgender, doesn't mean that you can't interpret them any other way. And people are even mad now. Like, I can't find tweets right now because the one that answered to me, like, I made a tweet and someone started a fight with me. I guess they wanted to beat me up. I don't know. They deleted the tweet. I don't think it was well received. Anyway, people are like, oh, we can interpret it the way, but it's not the same. So what? So what? Literally, so what? When was canon able to stop fiction, like fan fiction? When? I've been a fan fiction writer since I was like 10, and I never gave a fuck about canon, you know, especially when it's about, oh my god, queer characters, queer ships, trans characters, or whatever else. We or even like just neurodivergence, we don't generally have canon confirmation that a character is queer, trans, neurodivergent, or something like that, maybe disabled in any other way. We just not assume, but like we make stuff up, I honestly don't know when things started going this wrong, but I noticed that now when things are not canon, it automatically every other interpretation is wrong, and you cannot have any other interpretation. And I'm saying this for newer fandom especially, okay? I noticed this for newer fandoms. Maybe because the people are younger, and when you're younger, you're, I don't know, more, you want to fight more, I don't know. But I've noticed it in fandoms, like, I'm mentioning the fandoms I'm in personally. The Amazing Digital Circus, K-Pop Demon Hunters, and Wednesday. I'm currently in those 3 fandoms, mainly. I've been into the Hell of a Boss fandoms, but I kind of kept to myself in that regard. I kept to myself and my own friend group sort of thing, like my mood circle or whatever. So I never came across that many controversies. But the other 3 fandoms that I mentioned, crazy times. Like, I feel like I'm constantly in a war zone. Like, what the fuck? And I have to say that I mostly post sheep content, and people get really mad about it. Really mad about it. This kind of, I'm gonna stop here because this kind of gets into another point that I'm making later, so hold up. Okay, my next point is actually fandom etiquette, which in short, I'll try to be as concise as possible. In short, fandom etiquette is like, don't like, don't read, don't like, don't interact. That's the core of it, okay? And what it means is like, oh, I ship A and B, you ship B and C. I don't like B and C. I'm not gonna go after you personally and be like, B and C are the worst ship ever, A and B are better, they are canon, or like they're whatever, they're more healthy. I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna ignore you. If B and C as a ship bothers me so much, I'm gonna block you. And that's it, I go on with my life, you go on with your life, and we're all the more happy. What people haven't learned, I don't know why, I have many theories for it, but people are starting to get more personally offended for ships that don't concern them, or like for things in general that don't concern them. Like, I may say, oh, I think this character has PTSD because, like, in the book, in the show, they go through this, and I think that would cause PTSD. Or I'm neurodivergent and I really empathize with this character, and I think they're also neurodivergent. Things that are not that controversial. And people would be like, but they're not canon. The creator didn't say they have PTSD or ADHD or that they're autistic. Like, so what? Literally, so what? Okay. And I'm talking about this because sometimes ships can be controversial, like morally gray characters being in a relationship, toxic relationships, straight out abusive relationship. And I don't want to do a whole essay about relationships or ships in general. So I just cut that part out. But again, people get so offended for headcanons that we don't have to share, Now, I have a couple of theories. First of all, talking about fanfiction, I think the reason why so many people are, like, feel entitled to read only certain things, like they feel entitled to have exactly what they want, is because people moved from Wattpad to AO3 because Wattpad is trash right now. And that change, they changed the site and they didn't change their way of thinking. Now, on Wattpad, there are restrictions, there are guidelines, stricter guidelines. You can't post lots of stuff. Like, I've been on Wattpad a long time ago. I don't really use Wattpad anymore. But yeah, there are guidelines. While on AO3 you can post pretty much everything, anything you can think of, you can post. And you tag it correctly. So if I don't want to read it, I'm not going to stumble upon it. Like, I have some triggers. Let's say, I don't know, abusive relationships trigger me, or maybe cheating triggers me, okay? So you put in tags cheating, I exclude cheating from the tags I want to see, and I'm not gonna come across your fiction, like your fan fiction, okay? And what happened is so many people went from one side to the other, didn't learn how to tag properly or how tag worked, and they stumbled across something that potentially triggered them or that they didn't like, and they took it out on the author that actually tagged the thing correctly. Like, another thing that happened, that I saw happen, is new gen came to AO3 and decided that tagging is like spoiling the content, so they're not gonna tag correctly. And maybe I stumble across something that is triggering to me, and I didn't know because it wasn't tagged. Like, for me, like, actually, like, major character death is very triggering for me. And if you write major character death and don't tag it, I will have a mental breakdown, okay? Because I read fiction to get out of my daily problems, and I don't want to see my favorite character die, okay? So that's one of the reasons. The second reason is that now everything has to be for everyone. TikTok gave this idea that everything is for everyone. So if I post something that has to be for everyone, that has to be referred to everyone, like I see for maybe like black people that talk about black people's struggles. In my case, maybe black trans guys that talk about how being a black trans guy has a different set of struggles than being just a white trans guy, because we live in different kind of societies, different families. It's different, okay? And then you will see why trans guys being like, oh, but this doesn't happen to me. Well, like, this doesn't apply to me. Yeah, it's not about you. It's not about you. And again, people now have the new gen. I don't want to sound like a boomer, but like, the new gen has this idea that everything has to be about them specifically. When, I'm sorry, but not everyone lives your same experience, So yeah, those are my main two reasons, like my main two theories. There are more, but yeah. In short, like, fucking learn fandom etiquette before joining fandoms. Thank you. Now I'm gonna talk about other female creators that have been in the eye of controversies, or like have been called bad writers, bad creators in general for what they write. And I'm gonna also talk about how male creators don't get the same treatment. The first person that I want to mention is Fizzypop. And now, please do not throw stones at me, okay? I personally enjoy Fizzypop shows. I don't enjoy all of like the episode, especially in Eluva Boss, and I don't enjoy the rape jokes or like the sexual assault jokes. I dislike those, but it, like, in the grand scheme of things, I do enjoy Fizzypop shows, and I do enjoy like Fizzypop as a person. She sounds, every time I hear her talk or something like that, she sounds like a very genuine person. Now, her controversy, I'm not gonna go into details because there are a lot, but most of her controversy like can be divided into two groups. The dumbest one is like, she writes bad characters, she writes bad representation, which I'm gonna talk in a moment. The other half is like things that she did when she was 16 or 18 and people are still giving her shit for. Some stuff is literally made up with made up evidence. Like, Discord screenshots are not evidence. I'm sorry to tell you this, but Discord screenshots can be faked so fucking easily. Those are not evidence. I'm sorry, okay? And I'm gonna mention two of the most the only controversies that actually happened, and there are proofs that happened. One of which is Fizzypop drawing a minor character is in a sensual like kind of suggestive pose. That happened when Vizipop was also a minor. So she was a minor drawing, a minor being suggestive, which I think she shouldn't have posted it, but you are weird when you're 16. I also posted suggestive art, not of minors, but I was a minor myself, and I posted suggestive art, which can be dangerous for the minor themselves. Okay, if you're a minor watching this for any reason, do not post suggestive content of like fan arts or stuff like that. Absolutely not the suggestive content of yourself, because that's literally illegal, okay? But not even of fan arts, because that could put you in a dangerous situation, because people on the internet are weird. So again, Vizipop just drew a minor while she was a minor in a suggestive pose, which I don't think it's as controversial as people make it out to be, because like at 16 we're all like kind of weird, okay? I was weird. I know you were weird, or you're gonna be, hopefully you're already 16, whoever you are. The other thing is that she drew, again, a suggestive image of a character that was an adult while she was an adult. Like, I don't see how that's controversial, personally. She was accused of a bunch of stuff. I'm not gonna go into details because this is not a video about Vizipop personally, so just go and look for yourself. It's me from the future. I'm editing the video, and I just remembered about this controversy about Jorge Rivera, the creator of Epic, because one of his exes recently came out, said he was abusive. They had an abusive relationship. He blocked her on social, so she couldn't fucking speak up about him, stuff like that, okay? Jesus Christ. And all this happened allegedly, okay? I'm not gonna give my opinion on this controversy either, because I don't think like I am in a position to do so. I don't think I have the resources right now, but I want to talk about it. What happened, allegedly happened like 5 years ago or something, because Jorge is currently 27, and what happened when he was like 21, 22, allegedly. And again, it's been 5 years. Now, I don't know how old Vivienne Medrano is, but I think it's been longer than 5 years since she posted those suggestive art, for example. So I don't know when this part of the video is gonna be put in somewhere, but this shows that female creators like have all these controversies that are like they have to be dug out from ancient times, literally, while a male creator does not have to, even talk about a certain controversy, because Jorge did not talk about the controversy, and people just kind of forgot about it, and we kept going with our days, while Vivienne Medrano is still getting shit for things she did when she was a teen, literally. So again, the double standard, the misogyny is kind of showing. Another creator, a female creator that got harassed a lot, was Rebecca Sugar. I don't even think I should talk about this, because I'm pretty sure everyone that's been on the internet for, 2 years at the very least knows about the whole Rebecca Sugar controversy and how she writes bad characters, she writes bad relationship, blah blah blah, what the fuck ever. And on this note, I want to say that all the 3 creators I mentioned so far were not only women, but they're also queer. I'm pretty sure I can't remember. Dana Terrace, I think she's bisexual. Vivienne Medrano is pansexual, as far as I know, and on the ROA spectrum, I think. And Rebecca Sugar is also queer. I don't know if she labels herself. I think, and either way, that she is a sapphic woman, which I don't want to be the friend that's too woke, but yeah. Also, they created queer shows, again, not being the friend that's too woke, but the fucking connections are writing themselves right now. And talking about Rebecca Sugar, and her not being able to write, she doesn't write well or whatever, I think one of my favorite relationships in all of animation was Lapis per Jasper, and not in the way like, oh, I ship them and stuff. I think it was a very realistic depiction of an abusive relationship. From my experience with both romantic and platonic abusive relationship, she and her team, of course, did a great job at portraying an abusive relationship. And again, it could just be me. I think that there was a really good writing of an abusive relationship with which I empathized a lot, even when I was younger and didn't had my first abusive romantic relationship yet. So yeah, those are my 2 cents in favor of Rebecca Sugar. And I'm saying this as someone that didn't really follow the last season. I didn't like the newer, I don't know how to call it, like when Steven is an adult. I didn't really like that too much. I don't know, maybe it was just triggering for me, so I kind of zoned out or whatever, I don't know. Again, I'm saying this as someone that didn't enjoy the last seasons as much as the first, but I don't think that Rebecca Sugar deserved all the hate she got because of Steven Universe, okay? I think Steven Universe is still a more than decent show, honestly. Now, the fourth creator I'm talking about is a bit different. She's still a woman creator, but she didn't get into controversies as far as I know. And I'm talking about Shion Takeuchi. Shion Takeuchi is, or was, I mean, she is technically the creator of Inside Job. Inside Job was a great fucking show, okay? That got cancelled. Thank you, Netflix. You always cancel all the things that I want to watch. Anyway. And when it first came out, people were so fucking sure that it was from Alex Hirsch. And why is that? Because Shion Takeuchi worked on Gravity Falls as well. I think she worked on Gravity Falls. And when Inside Job came out, people made the connection with Gravity Falls and Inside Job, and they were like, oh, Inside Job, the show by Alex Hirsch. It's from Shion Takeuchi, and the name is right there. Like, for a long time, people kept saying that it was from Alex Hirsch, which is not true. I'm not even sure Alex Hirsch collaborated in any way on Inside Job. But yeah, again, this is not a controversy, but I think it shows that female creators always get put second place, or like either they meaning people, the fandom or whatever, they hate them or like find something to hate them for, or they kind of erase them, they kind of forget about them. Now, I don't know if Shion Takeuchi is also part of the queer community. As far as I know, she's not. But again, I'm not talking about that part specifically. I'm talking about the fact that she's a woman, and just like the other women I mentioned, was kind of put in a second place in favor of a man, which probably didn't even contribute that much, I think. I don't know, okay, maybe Alex Hirsch was a big part of Inside Job, but I don't know about that, okay. And now, since I mentioned Alex Hirsch in regards to Shion Takeuchi, I also want to mention Brandon Rogers in contrast to Vizipop, because as people know, like if you follow Hello Boss, you know that Brandon Rogers is one of the writers. I think there are 3 writers for Hello Boss, one of which is Vizipop herself, Brandon Rogers, and the third I can't remember, but again, we're not talking about him right now. Why I'm mentioning Brandon Rogers? Because most of the things that get mentioned as like, a proof of Vizipop being a bad writer were actually added in by Brandon Rogers. Like, the hate Tom fucking hates Stolas and Stolitz as a ship, and that was not added by Vizipop. That was Brandon Rogers. And again, I'm gonna give my 2 cents on this. I think that Stolas being an actual character and not just a horny villain, it's much better. Like, I don't know why you would prefer a homosexual man to be a horny villain that like borderline assaults the lower class, instead of him being an actual character that learns from his mistakes and like has an arc and everything. I don't know, that's my opinion. Anyway, the thing is, again, Stolas as a character, and Stolitz were added in by Brandon Rogers. And if you get into the hate dump for even just a second, you will see that everyone is blaming Vizipop as like the worst thing ever, like the worst thing she ever did was adding Stolitz because she's fetishizing the gay community. When again, it was a gay man, Brandon Roger, adding in the whole gay relationship, okay, the whole relationship. So yeah, like, can you see the silver lining? Not the silver lining, but like, can you see the connections? The connection, people, can you see the connections? The male creators don't get arrested as much for things that female creators get put through the mud for, you know. I made a post on Twitter, and one of my mutuals also said, oh yeah, now that I think about, like, now that you mention it, when is the last time that Alex Hirsch or Toby Fox were put through the mud for anything, you know? Like, Gravity Falls is not perfect. I didn't like all of it. I liked most of it, and I think it's a great show, but then I didn't like all of it. But I don't see people complain over Gravity Falls as much as they complain over the Owl House for being cut short and stuff like that. Like, that's somehow fucking Dana's fault, you know? And talking about this, Vizipop also get a lot of hate because Hasbin Hotel season 1 was rushed. Like, it was her fault that Prime gave her only 6 episodes. Like, people, be fucking for real right now, okay? All of this to say, like, make your own conclusions. Like, I'm giving you my conclusions, but I think everyone should research for themselves and come to their own conclusion. And if your conclusion is different from mine, that's okay. At least you came to that conclusion. I'm saying conclusion a lot. You came to that on your own. You didn't just take someone else's opinion as your own, which is the worst thing you could do. Like, literally just research something if you want to have an opinion. If you don't want to research something, don't give your opinion on it, because your opinion is not yours, it's someone else's, okay? So yeah, this last part was a bit more ranty than the first 3, I think. This video, as you probably noticed, did not have a script. It was just me rambling. I had like a small list of things that I wanted to talk about, and I kind of followed it. But yeah, it wasn't scripted or anything. It was just me rambling for 40 minutes. I hope you enjoyed. And I also hope the audio saved this time, because if it doesn't, or if it did, I don't know. I'm actually gonna cry in the corner, like right over there. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like, do the usual stuff that you do with other creators, like leave a like, comment, I don't know, subscribe if you want. Again, I also have a reaction channel that I probably put somewhere in up here or something. And I don't know, we'll just see each other in the next video. Bye!